Not great this year with the three-pointer, but he's had, better seasons in the past. But he can shoot the three. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. And he's long. He can defend a bit. So, I think he fits very well there. But he's also been a guy who has been at his most effective scoring-wise sometimes when he gets a lot of shots. And he went in there shooting a lot, too. I think he's going to have to find what his niche is there, where I don't know that, you can't necessarily expect you're going to get 15, 17 shots a game the way he was in Boston, after all the stars left. So, but he's a really nice pickup. Didn't take a lot to get him. And I don't think it's over yet in the West as far as the arms race goes. Oklahoma City made their move getting Dion Waiters, and the Suns picked up Brandon Wright, and the Grizzlies made their move. There's going to be more to come. Dallas got Rondo, obviously, and Houston got Josh Smith. There's going to be more to come. We still got, almost a month to go before the trade deadline. And, it's so intense right now in the West. Everyone sees their window, and, it's hard to make trades in this league, so there's no guarantee that anything happens, but I guarantee you every one of those teams in that top 8, 9, 10 are still looking to make improvements.
And Howard, that leads me into my last question for you today is, with the trade deadline steadily approaching, who are some teams that stand out to you who need to make a move, whether it be for cap relief or picks or playoff push purposes? And who are some players who you believe that will be moved as the deadline approaches?
Yeah, it's always hard to predict. We all have, a list of likely suspects, and then, most years, the trades that you most expect to happen are not the ones that happen. And some of the biggest trades are ones that no one ever saw coming. Everybody knew that Carmelo Anthony was going to be traded in 2011, but nobody knew that 5 minutes later Darren Williams was going to get traded in at that time what was also a blockbuster deal. So it's hard to project. But the two teams in my backyard here in New York, the Knicks and the Nets are both in kind of a rebuild. The Knicks are in teardown mode. So I think everybody on that roster for the most part is available. I expect the Knicks to make a couple more cap clearing type moves and to try to pick up either young players or picks. I expect the Nets eventually will move Brook Lopez. Darren Williams is tougher because he's hurt right now and he's got a huge contract. But they're obviously looking to make moves. I think the Cavaliers have probably done all they can do. I don't know how many more chips they have to spend to try to shore themselves up. They probably feel like they've got what they need now. Out east, I'm not sure. I don't know who else is going to be in buying mode. A lot of these teams have pretty established identities. And in the West, so many teams have already made moves, but, what will the Lakers do now with Kobe out for the rest of the season? There's been a lot of talk already about the fact that, all right, look, we're not a franchise that tanks or believes in tanking. They've been very strong in making those statements, but the Lakers, this is a lost season even before Kobe went down. It might make sense for them to reconsider their stance, to decide to maybe, shoot off a couple of those players to playoff teams that could use whether it's a Jordan Hill or, Jeremy Lin on his expiring contract or Nick Young, whoever, because the Lakers are better off finishing in the top 5 or in the draft. If they're 1 through 5 in the draft order, they keep their pick. If their pick falls 6 or below, it goes to Phoenix to complete the Steve Nash trade. So I would keep an eye on them too. But, and then there's a couple of teams that are just waiting to make major acquisitions. The Suns and the Celtics both have acquired a gazillion draft picks. And at some point they're going to look to spend those picks, combined with players to make a major move, for some key players. I don't know if that happens before the deadline or if that happens this summer. But, when you're collecting all those picks, you're doing it not to use them usually. You're usually doing that to, package them together to make a major trade.
Yes, indeed. And Howard, it's been great to have you on our show today. We got to do it again real soon, buddy.
My pleasure, fellas. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. That was a Howard Beck of Bleacher Report. Check his hours worked out on Bleacher Report out. You see him on the road covering the NBA games. And coming up next after the break, it's the Boss Report.